Welcome to our chat. Today, I thought we would do something a little bit different. Usually, we talk about an artist, their life, their work, their viewpoints. And today, I thought might be really good to actually explore the question, what is abstract expressionism? A lot of the artists that we've been showing are part of that genre. So I thought maybe it's good that we even take a look and see what it is. Abstract expressionism is an art movement that began in the late 1940s and early 1950s in and around New York City. Abstract expressionism was not historical painting. It was not landscape painting. It was not genre painting. It was a new kind of painting. It was not about making images of things in the world. It was resolutely abstract. From 1945 on, people were looking for some kind of salvation in the aftermath of World War II. The individuals wanted to find a new way to communicate to themselves and to the world. A variety of artists broke into their own voice at the same time, and in each case, it happened differently. And among them were William de Kooning, Jackson Pollock, Franz Klein, Lee Krasner, Joan Mitchell, Helen Frankenthaler, Adolf Gottlieb, Clifford Still, Robert Motherwell, and Mark Rothko. I think what was really good that during this movement, there were two art critics that helped articulate and shape the abstract expressionist movement. And they were Clement Greenberg and Harold Rosenberg. And each one of them had a different viewpoint to bring to the table. And it gives us a rich way of understanding the depth of abstract expressionism. So I would like to share with you their viewpoint and how they saw this new movement. Clement Greenberg had a strong philosophical bent. He was interested in truth, beauty, and purity. By this, he meant looking at how the artist is working through the purity of the medium as painting itself, about the process of the materials. He expressed that painting was no longer about creating a two-dimensional representation of the three-dimensional object, but rather about pushing the limits of two-dimensionality itself. In his case, what he saw is that the painter would be very transparent in how he made the painting, so that the viewer could actually feel and see the method of the way the paint was applied. For example, we can see in Jackson Pollock how the paint is dripping off his brush stick or through the poured paint as he makes his overall gestural drips. And the same with Franz Klein. We can see the broad brushstroke, raw, simply stated right there in front of us, and know how that painting was created. In other words, for Clement Greenberg, the strong awareness for the viewer of how the materials were used, put on to the canvas, was part of the movement. Harold Rosenberg, on the other side, was much more concerned about the viewer and the experiential nature of the actual making of the painting. So there would be two experiences. One, the passion of the painter being in the zone, both physically, mentally, spiritually, and painting away. And the viewer actually feeling this experience of the artist. In other words, he was interested about that human nature behind the action of the painting. There were various ways that abstract expressionist painters explored this idea of their new voice, and so many different ways of painting. It was very individualistic. It was very much how the individual wanted to perceive and experience and express. And it's the same in today's world. That's why it's such a beautiful movement, because it still is relevant in today's world. Our individualistic journeys of taking in what is going on around us and allowing it to come forth in the way we express and how we express and the passion with which we express on the canvas. But there were some commonalities, even though there was so many differences, as these individualistic artists explored their own way. One, that the paintings were large in scale. They often were bigger than the artists themselves, and they were meant to be ways in which they could step into the canvas, the experience of painting, and that the viewer could step into the artist's world. And another thing about the commonality of abstract expressionist paintings is that their composition is overall. Unlike the masters that came before them, where you had a subject matter, you had a central theme, and everything worked around it. In this case, there was a movement to have the whole composition be equally important, every part of it, from every side, top, bottom, every small square inch be part of this composition. And as a viewer, our eyes would move around and through and over and across, and continue to do so as we were looking at the painting. So as we enjoy this movement and realize how powerful it was, and at the same time, how encompassing it was for these people and for many styles, that we can see the relevance in today's world and why it is so compelling for artists today, that we still want to create, trying to assimilate the chaos and the diversity and the multitude of perspectives in today's world, and how we bring that into ourselves and let it be part of our own expression and part of our individual perspective in the paintings that we are making, with no reference to anything other than what is happening in us and through us and around us. So I hope you enjoyed that small look into abstract expressionism, and we look forward to maybe elaborating even more on the themes within the movement itself as time went on.